One of the things that, as we prepare to, I'm going to ask Karen if she, is Karen here yet? As she comes out, we're speaking, leaving off, picking back up from where we left off last week. And one of the things that I want us to, just real briefly, just want to be to share some statistics on some things that deal with mindsets, mentalities, and so forth. And I believe she's looking up something else at this point for me, but at this time, I want to ask Apostle Parson if she would come. I want to ask you to read a couple of areas here for me. And one of the things, so I'm getting into the message area, and it's going to be dealing with how people that have mentalities and mindsets always normally go back to some of those mentalities and mindsets. But we, the people of God, where God is getting ready to lead us, is going to move from our mind. It's this piece of paper here. I'll have you come up here and read this here. This is a typical story dealing with from millionaire to factory worker and party down and down. I'm going to ask you to read these first. This is just something you can pull up online, real true story, internet areas, when people win millions of dollars through the lottery and so forth and so on, but based on their mentality and lack of investment and knowing how. These are some stories here that real briefly we're going to read.
Amen. A typical story. Lisa Arkin won $1 million in the Massachusetts lottery in 2004. She bought a house and went on vacations like many winners. Of course, $1 million isn't much after taxes, so she also opened a restaurant to make some additional income. Sadly, within a few years, she ran out of money and closed the failing restaurant. In 2007, she said of her lottery experience, actually, it's been very depressing.
Okay, number 2.
From millionaire to factory worker. Michael Carroll was a garbage man in England when at age 19, he won $9.7 million in the lottery in 2002. A mansion, drugs, and gold jewelry ate up the money quickly. By 2012, Carroll was broke and living off unemployment checks. Now he works in a slaughterhouse, making about $511 per week. Party down and down and down. Gerald Muswagon of Winnipeg, Manitoba, won $10 million in 1998. He bought cars for friends and family and made his new house into a party pad. Eventually, he spent all his money and he took a minimum wage job to support his 6 children and his girlfriend. In 2005, just 7 years after his big win, he took his own life.
Read about 1 or 2 more, Father.
Generous to a fault. Jeanette Lee won $18 million in 1993. Although her gambling habit reportedly cost her more than $300,000 per year, she may have spent more on charitable and political donations. Her generosity included $1 million for Washington University to build a new library. In 2001, she filed for bankruptcy. Millionaire or murderer. Willie Hurt won $3.1 million in the Michigan lottery in 1989. The money didn't last long. Within 2 years, Hurt wrecked his marriage, lost custody of his kids, and was charged with attempted murder. He spent his winnings on his divorce and drugs, according to his attorney.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to hand this to Karen, and she's going to pick up, and she's going to talk about this one individual that we all know. And I'm giving this information so when I get into the message, that it's a known fact that most people that win the lottery end up broke after a few years, after winning so many millions and millions of dollars. And we say that couldn't be me. But at the same time, you got stuff that based on this message, I was talking about culture and dealing with the children of Israel coming out of Egypt. And I was telling us last week how whenever God delivered them, they wanted to go back to Egypt off some onions and some leeks. And so basically their mentality, God can bring you out of a situation, but if your mentality is back where it used to be, it don't matter about where you are. It's like the song, my body is here with you, but my mind is on the other side of town. And if you live in that way, you'll perform that way. Okay, this individual here, call the name and read some of that, Karen, real briefly.
MC Hammer.
How many remember Hammer? Hammer time. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Grandmaster of parachute pants and overspending, MC Hammer turns 51. But rather than get him a present, we've opted to gift something to you, a roundup of all the crazy stuff he blew his $30+ million fortune on
$30+ million
in just a few years.
in a few years. That's over $10 million a year. Okay, go ahead.
He got into the hip-hop game and formed a Christian rap group before going solo and signing with Capitol Records, rocketing to stardom and wealth with Please Don't Hurt Him, Hammer. Don't hurt him.
Y'all remember that? Don't hurt him, Hammer. Okay, I saw Bernie Clay Thomas walk up in here today with his hat on. I said, don't hurt him, Hammer. Okay.
His first hip-hop album sold over 10 million copies, the first to do so. And his peak of 1991, he was earning upwards of $33 million a year.
$33 million a year. Okay, go ahead.
But in a flash, it all disappeared.
And not Grandmaster Flash, but in a flash. Go ahead.
Here's why. He had an epic entourage and staff. He kept a staff of 200 people on the payroll to handle pretty much everything you can imagine, and notoriously rolled with an entourage of 40 deep, paying out a staggering $500,000 per month to support everybody.
Now, $500,000. Now, he was making how much? $500,000 a month just for down the road with you. Okay, continue.
His mansion, not content to settle for some sprawling estate that already existed, he broke ground in the hills above the rough neighborhood he grew up in on a 40,000 square foot house that would end up costing him $30 million. He earned the price tag with a litany of added touches like gold-plated gates, 2 swimming pools, Italian marble floors, a recording studio, 17-car garage.
Now, how many would love to, back in the day, now ladies, be honest. If Hammer took and rolled up on you and you single, some of them saying right now, he ain't had to be single. Anyway, but if you single and he rolling that kind of money, wouldn't it be quite tempting? Hammer time. Dun, 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 dun. You know, you gonna be ready for use of MC Hammer, because everybody know him. He got everything going. He's spending money like, hand over fist, and so it's tempting. It's very tempting. But continue.
A recording studio, 17-car garage.
17-car garage. He don't have no AMC Pacers. He is balling. Okay.
33-seat theater, baseball diamond, and multiple tennis courts. That's not counting the millions upon millions he spent to furnish the place with rare antiques. He had thoroughbreds. In 1991, he established Oaktown Stable, which would eventually house his 19 thoroughbred racehorses, including a dance floor, a colt that finished third in the 1992 Kentucky Derby. Considering horses of such caliber regularly sell for millions apiece, this wasn't a cheap endeavor. His rides, he dropped a mint on transportation that included a Lamborghini, private jet, 2 private helicopters, and a stretch limo.
Now, ladies, come on. Now, Juliet, much as you love Q, if Hammer came around at that time and just kept pouring it out on you, now I know you're going to tell him, get out your face, ain't you? Just say, no doubt about it. Okay. All right, so continue.
Eventually, having blown through his ample fortune, Hammer filed for bankruptcy in 1996 with a staggering debt of over $13 million and was forced to sell off his house for a fraction of what he spent to build it. Eventually, he rebranded himself as a minister, a gig that helped him pay for the bills for a while.
I tell you what, when all else fail, you better come. People find their way to Jesus. I'm here to tell you. So I'm giving this history, this information, because I'm a firm believer that what God is moving within our dispensation and our timing, that we have to prepare ourselves to not give or throw away what he's going to give us spiritually, physically, and financially. Why did I say it that way? Because 3 John 2 said, beloved, above all things, I wish you a prosper and be in health. Prosper is your prosperity of finance. It said, be in health. Above all things, I wish you a prosper, be in health as your soul prosper. So he wants us to be well-rounded with everything he give us, but he don't want us to blow it. He don't want us to take and we party all the time, be that party animal to where you wind up sick. And not because how many know too much partying ain't good for you? You know, too much anything is not good for you, except for Jesus. Now, what I believe is this, that God is getting ready to do a transfer of wealth, that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. I believe that. Do I have any believers in here that believe that? And I stopped off last week saying that I see and I saw a transfer coming. I really believe that we are moving into the time that God is getting ready to do something that he said, I give you houses that you did not work for. He talked about the different things that he would do and give unto us. And if anybody ever been broke long enough or down long enough or depressed long enough or worried long enough, you need to get excited that God is getting ready to shift some stuff. And see, the thing about it is you got to be to hear it and believe it in order for you to respond off of it. See, if you can tell people who really got it going on because they don't get excited about nothing. When your bills are paid and you don't have to worry about anything, you hit the faucet and Kool-Aid is running out and you don't have to worry about anything as far as your money is less long and green as the lawns out in Kentucky Derby, all this type stuff, then you don't have to worry about that. But a person that have been going through, a person that been saying, give me this day my daily bread, a person that wakes up in the morning and say, Lord, I thank you that these lights are still on, a person that's able to say, Lord, I thank you that I'm not sick with some cancer or some other deadly disease. Do I have anybody in here that can bless the Lord that he have been mighty good to you? When I look at Brother Rancher, and I went to see him at the hospital, and he was telling me about how his wife had to beat his chest and over again till the paramedics came, and he did not even know until he woke up in the hospital that he had been out that long and that they said that he had actually died and come back. Now, I'm out here to tell you that for those of you that can't give God a praise for you being here and alive and for him being here and alive, when you start looking at all that God have done for you, we got to take a praise break. I wish I had 2 or 3 people that could say, I know what he did for me. When I was about to lose my mind, he kept me in my right mind. The old saint said, when I rose this morning, my bed was not a cooling board. I was clothed in my right mind. I could have been cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I could have lost it on the way to church. I could have been in a head-on collision. I could have took and felt like pulling the car over on the side of a bridge and just going overboard. But God kept us. Is there anybody here glad that God kept you? You was able to take and cut on from air condition to heat. You was able to take and feel the heat come up. You smelled the smell of heat. You can say, I smell that smell. It ain't been on all year. Thank God that you can smell the smell. You got a nose to smell the smell. You're able to get up this morning and decide if you want to cook or if you want to go by Burger King, Hardee's, or Mickey D's. You had a choice in the matter. You had a choice. Many of you had a choice on which car you were going to ride. Ain't that right, Jackie? Am I going to drive the Benz today, or am I going to drive the Cadillac? Y'all know what I'm talking about. You could get up and you could go like MC Hammer, go through your stable of cars. You open up your wardrobe closet and had to sit there for a moment and say, will this go with that? Somebody didn't have no choice. They had to just put on what they had because that was all they had. But you had a choice to say, should I wear this shoes with that? And then you started all over again. So for those of you that can give God a praise for everything that he's done, some of you so blessed you can go put on a cowboy shirt, outfit, and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you got to understand, God has been so good to us, but God said the more you praise him, the more I'm going to bless you. Do I have anybody looking for some big blessings in here? I thank God that a switch is coming. God is going to bend your back over with blessings. I wish you could see it in the spirit realm. He's getting ready to bend your back over to where you're going to have more than enough, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Not only was the people of Israel carrying on their back, but their children was carrying. Look at somebody and say, my children and my children going to be blessed. Because the Bible lets us know that whenever God takes and begins to work a blessing, that he flows through generation and generation. And what you got to understand, the Bible talks about the gift that was stirred up that came off of Eunice. So what God was saying, whenever this area was coming about in the Bible, and Eunice was he's talking about the gift of her grandmother, the gift of her grandmother. So what happened, grandmother was dead, but God was blessing Eunice off of a dead person. Some of you got some praying dead folks that God is getting ready to pull a blessing that they didn't even get to receive, but you're going to get. I wish somebody could understand what I was saying. There's some people that live righteous. There's some people that live holy that did not get the opportunity to get what you're getting ready to have or receive. There's some people that died hoping to see the promise. But guess what? You're getting ready. Matter of fact, Hebrews talks about all of those Hall of Famers and how they didn't get to see it. But we said we see salvation. We experience the Holy Ghost. We experience power. We experience great works. So we need to give God a praise one more time for what he's getting ready to do mighty in our lives. God said, I don't only want to bless you, but your cup to run over. See, what you got to realize is this. Some of you got to realize some people are only blessed because of you. See, you the cup, they the saucer. Y'all need to understand. You so blessed. Can I get a cup for a moment? Anybody got a saucer here for a moment? If you could, go get me a saucer out of there for a moment. And so here's what God is getting ready to do. I want those of you to understand something mighty, because when you're anointed and you know you're the anointed person, that means that everything around you is blessed. I wish somebody get bold enough on your road and say, just because I'm on your road, everything on my road gonna be blessed, because I am the glass. I am the cup. And he said, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And because he said that, bring that for me for a moment, Jones. And let me show y'all what's getting ready to happen. Now, what God is getting ready to do is this. This here, right here, is a cup. And so when God start blessing, he going to bless till it overflow. Now, the thing about it is, I don't want nobody getting depressed because you may not be the cup. But when the overflow comes, what's in the cup going to come to the saucer. So when God bless you, he going to bless me too. And I don't mind being like the woman that said even the crumbs that the dog, like she said, the dogs even eat the crumbs from the master table. Well, guess what? Just feed me, God. I may not be the cup, but let me be the saucer. I can still lick from the saucer the same way you can drink from the cup. Anybody, matter of fact, if anybody ever took and had a saucer and you had something good that was on it, something good that was in it, in other words, and when you got through, you took and just licked out the saucer, because what's in the cup, once again, is in the saucer. So tell your neighbor, everything on my road gonna be blessed. Every healing, every anointing. Your finances gonna be blessed. Your children gonna be blessed. Your health gonna be blessed. Your household gonna be blessed. Your mama gonna be blessed. Your daddy gonna be blessed. Everything you point at gonna be blessed. So guess what? No matter how you chop it up, when the blessings go up, when the praises go up, the blessings will come down. I wish somebody could say, Lord, let me sip out the saucer one more time. See, the problem is some of us don't want to take and receive from lower areas because we feel like if we ain't the number one stunner, it ain't going to be no good. But I'm here to tell you, it ain't nothing like being able to, right now, Friday night, I decided I went to the movies. I went by myself. Co-pastor said to have some event. I showed up, went in there, caught me a good movie because I learned how to celebrate me. So you got to know how to do for you, boo. I looked in the mirror, say, I believe I shave. I believe I take and comb my hair down around the edges, make it look like, as y'all say, the baby hair. Puts me some smells goods on. Looked in the mirror, kissed myself. Told myself, boy, you fine. High-fived myself, pat myself on the behind, and walked on out the house and said, you better watch it. Went to the movie, got me some popcorn, left from there. I decided I didn't want to go to Mickey D's. I didn't want McDonald's or Burger King, no disrespect. But I called my queen. I said, look, I'm getting ready to have something to eat. Do you want to come with me? I'm over here at Morgan Chop House. She said, no, I just ate. I'm going to be at the house. So I told her dinner for one. I sat down and I had the pork chop with the dumpling and blueberry, the dressing all on it. And it was sweet as the honey in a honeycomb. They asked me what kind of salad I want. I said, I want the, I said, do you have the salad that used to have the strawberries in it? They said, we don't have that. Right now they got a new one. It got pears in it. And it's sweet too. Ain't as sweet as you, but it's sweet, girl. So I sat there and I got proper. I cut my salad with a knife. Because people were looking and I wanted to look dignified. I took and cut my salad. I ate my salad. They brought out the pork chop. I sliced the chop and I cut it in little pieces. I was really wanting to pick it up by my hands, y'all, but because of where I was at, what I'm trying to tell you, God getting ready to take you some places. And you ain't going to be able to act the way you used to act. Because when you're getting ready to go, people going to be watching. And what I did, I grabbed my napkin out and I did something a little different. I put it across my lap, y'all, because I was by myself and I didn't want to drop nothing on myself. So what I did, I picked it up and I took my finger like this and y'all better leave me alone up in here. And then I decided, I said, it's time for me to go to the house. I went to the house and the queen was there, and I'm not talking about Aretha. The queen couldn't get up the next morning because I'm talking about James. I'll leave all that alone. But you got to learn how to celebrate yourself. You got to learn how to take care of yourself. You got to learn how to throw a party and say happy birthday to me if nobody put a card in the mail. You got to learn how to get in the car and be able to turn the rearview mirror back and not look out the back glass and say, I'm looking at me because I'm going to celebrate me because I like me. Matter of fact, I'm not going to keep living tips for people. I want to live a tip for me. You need to learn how to live a tip for yourself. Because whenever you done been through all the hell and high water you done been through, it's time for you to understand that everybody ain't going to celebrate you. And you can't wait till the opportune time to come for a celebration. I got a little movie partner named Yaya. And Yaya usually go to the movie with me all the time. But yesterday, all of a sudden, Yaya didn't want to go. I grabbed the popcorn that was left from the night before, because it was still just as good as it was going to be that day. And so I was going to go, and I told Shelley, come on, let's go on to the movies. So we get to the movie theater, and she talking about fresh popcorn. I said, this is still fresh. I said, once we eat that, we'll get us a new one. Because guess what? I'm not going to waste my time or my money on stuff that's going to cause me to look back and say, I regret. Some of you need to get rid of some stuff and some people in your life that been taking and draining you because you still got something old that's just as fresh. I don't think you heard what I just said. They would tell you at a theater, the bag of popcorn comes in the big bags. Those big bags being cooked over a week ago. And when they put it out, they can put it in and put it on the lights, and it's just as fresh. So why am I going to take something that have to think, I got to think that I'm going, in other words, in your mind, because you see it, you just don't know how old it is. But it's already a week old when it hit the popcorn machine. And I just bought from this machine a night ago. And I didn't eat but just a handful. It's not that I was cheap, not that I didn't have the money, because I could have bought a whole new bucket full. But what I'm trying to tell you, I'm not going to be MC Hammer. I'm not going to be the lottery winners. I'm still going to the movie, but guess what? I'm going to go, and if I got a full bag, I ain't got to impress nobody. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Why am I going to try to impress you? Why am I going to try to make a mark on you? I'm celebrating me. So when we stop trying to impress people, it don't matter if your cars are 07 or 08, long as you like Bessie. Because the time will come. Right now, mine ain't new, but when I get ready, look out, world. Because guess what? I used to walk around a prison field with tennis shoes. And I learned how to praise God when I was walking around a tennis field with a prison field with tennis shoes on. So now, why am I going to sit there and fret? Because I'm excited that you got a 2020. Because guess what? When I get mine, I'm going to be just as excited for mine as you are with yours. I can celebrate you now because guess what? Mine is coming. If you can't celebrate somebody now, you'll never be able to celebrate properly when yours come. Tell somebody I'm not a hater, I'm an appreciator. That let me know, guess what? At this time, you are the cup. But as long as God keep blessing, I'll be the saucer. And if God is blessing on your street, that means he's in the neighborhood on my street too. So I'm going to give the Lord praise at all times because of how he blessed you. Because I know he's going to come down my road in just a moment. I wish somebody touch your neighbor and say, he's coming down my road. He's coming down my road. He's coming down my road. See, we got to get used to celebrating others. Why God is getting ready to bless your socks off. Because see, what's getting ready to happen is God getting ready to take and pour you out a blessing that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. Neither ever entered into the hearts of men the thing that God prepared for those that love him. So we got to get things in order. And in order to get it in order, we got to do the way God wanted to do. I'm going to share something, but I'm saying it on a testimony. I'm not saying it on a negative part. You got to get ready. I told the Lord, I said, Lord, I want to be the best pastor I can be. The best pastor I can be. I want to be the best husband I can be. I want to be the best father I can be and the best papa I can be. I said, that's what I want to do, God. And it seemed like when I opened my mouth and said that, all hell broke loose. It seemed like that everything that wanted to come my way, tried to come my way to keep me from being the best pastor, the best husband, the best father, and the best papa. So I've been forcing my way. JJ said, look, they got grandfather for a day at the school. Man, I had so much stuff going on. I said, if I'm going to be the best papa, I got to lay some stuff aside. I was in a hurry. I said, Lord, you know what all I got before me? And I'm going out to the school, spend some time with baby James. I get there, and I'm in a hurry, but he's at there, and I gets there, and I normally go with V every year. And this year here, I don't even know if they did hers yet. But anyway, I said, let me get this. I go there, y'all, in a hurry, but I said, I got to make this count. Let me show you what God did. I got there not realizing that Apostle Ford's wife worked at the school that he goes to. The line is as long as wrapped around the cafeteria. They said they had twice the people that they had expected. They had about 400 people more than what they expected. And I had business I need to take care of, but I want to be a good papa. I'm in the back of the line. All of a sudden, Sister Ford looked around and she said, "Mag, that you?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Come up here." She said, "Matter of fact, stay where you at." She went to the cafeteria workers. She said, "Tell me what you want." I asked James, "What do you want?" He told me what he wanted. They brought me a tray of everything. I was in the back of the line. But he said, the first will be last, and the last will be first. They put me on the front of the line, and those folks were looking at me like, "How dare him? How dare, who he know?" Y'all missing something. So now I'm in the front of the line, and then they didn't have no chairs, no seats. And they said, "Well, we don't have any seats available, so you're going to have to go back to the back of the line." I ain't have no problem. About this time, I saw somebody else I knew. And they said, "You can have my seat, because we ain't going to let an apostle," because this is somebody else from another church, there to see. They said, "No, my pastor taught us better. You're an apostle. You're going to sit right here. Come on." Got their grandkids up and put me in the seat. Because God knew my heart desire. So God said, "If you show up, I'll make it right." All I'm just trying to get you to see is that when you start saying stuff going to start coming up. And stuff will start happening. Now, I give old girl credit on something. Like I took last night, I had opportunity. I went shopping. I went and got some stuff that I want. I said, "Get me some boneless chicken breast, get me some fish, and get me some different stuff." And I'm used to, I want her to cook it a certain way. And there was a time I ain't always did what all I'm supposed to do. I know y'all don't understand it, and this is Greek to y'all, because y'all always did everything you're supposed to do and all of that stuff. There was a time, because my wife used to get offended because I was eating out of other troughs. In other words, I was eating out of other plates. Folks that want to bring something, and they, all the time now, they didn't always want to bring for the both of us. And my mentality at that time was that, well, ain't no sense of me looking out, because they might not be looking at your end. That was then. That was my mentality then. And so I say, okay, well, if they want to bring me something, well, hey, just meet me around the corner. I'll pick it up. I'll eat it before I get to the shop. That wasn't right, but that was my mentality then. And so that didn't mean I was right. That just mean I was eating right. But here's the thing. We are one. And by us being one, I don't need to be behind a corner trying to do something. And so I have to take and make sure that I'm now in alignment, because I said I want to be the best husband. And in order to do that, I got to be considerate of her ways. So she said one day, "I just pray and look forward for the day that you just stop just letting your flesh get in the way with food and this and that and the other, laughing and giggling and all this," because she's not as much of a laughter and giggler as I am, and just different stuff. So I heard her. And by hearing her, I started making a difference. I started, "Nah, I can't. Well, if I would appreciate if you would do this way. I got to keep my household, peaceful." So I started changing. I didn't change overnight, but I started changing. See, sometimes we don't give God praise for the change. See, you may not change completely, but you're changing. And so I started changing. And so yesterday I took and I told her, it was late. I had to go do some stuff at the group home, and so I told her, I said, "Look," she had went and got them something to eat, and I said, "Well, I really not moved for no chili." I said, "But I did go get some stuff, and I'd like for you to put it in that new air fryer, because I'm trying to do a little healthier." And she was like, "It's kind of late. It's late, And my flesh jumped in. my flesh jumped in because I can still eat. I know some folks that'll bring me something. I know some places I can go and some things I can do, and I can feel this boy. I'm just being honest. See, some of y'all ain't honest. Some of y'all ain't got enough balls. I mean, some of you ain't got enough to tell the truth in front of folks. But I'm just telling you some truth. And because I know this, I did not want the enemy to get in my way. Especially whenever, you still know how to do what you used to do. And so I immediately said, I didn't fuss. I didn't argue. I said, sweetheart, there was a time that you prayed and said you want your husband home. You want him eating out of your plate. I said, now you may not spice it like everybody else, but I'm asking for your plate. And I said, that's all I'm saying. You prayed. I didn't fuss. I didn't argue. I came to my house. When I pulled up, the air fryer was popping. It was popping. She had 2 big breasts laid on the side. I said, for those breasts, I've got to. You're going to be blessed for those breasts. She had some fish laid out. She told me, taste this and see is it done enough. It looked done, but because of the air fryer, broke me off a piece. Said, you can go back in a little bit more. No argument. Because, see, many times we asking God to do something, but it's a cost. You want the best man, but you ain't the best woman, or you want the best woman and you ain't the best man. It's a cost. Because I got a hard enough time dealing with myself. I got a hard enough time dealing with the demons that my daddy had. I got a hard enough time dealing with the demons that I have, and sometimes I like my demons. Now, some of y'all won't be truthful, but I had some demons that I used to like. I talk about getting delivered, the demon leave, and I say, where you going? You better come back here. Do I have any real folks in here on the day? I'm loving God, but I'm loving this demon. And so in order for me to free myself, I have to be able to not be concerned with whoever may condemn me or say whatever they want. Because when God get ready to set a Negro free, free at last, you talk about Martin Luther King, I need a Jesus deliverance. I didn't get sprayed down by no hoses. I didn't have no dogs licked on me. I had some other stuff at me. And I needed God to do something great in my life. I don't know about you, but I want to tell you, won't he do it? I'm wondering how now, man, I pulls my behind home ahead of her. I'm at the house early. I'm doing everything. But see, I said, God, I want to be. I don't want to put a stench on Jesus' peace name. I don't want to put a stench on Pastor McGrady name. I don't want to put a stench on co-pastor McGrady husband. I don't want to put a stench on my children dad. I don't want to put a stench on my grandchildren grandpa. Lord, I want to be able to walk before you. And when I said that, everything seemed like wanting to come my way. Everything that could switch, twitch, and smile. Everything that had junk in the trunk. Everything. I had somebody, I looked around, I told White the joke. I said, man, the girl said, look at here. I know you're looking at junk in the trunk. She said, I know I got junk in the front, but my car's a Porsche. My trunk is in the front. And so guess what, y'all? I know y'all may not caught that, but anyway. You caught it, did you catch it? So this is what a female was saying. She said, I know everybody like junk in the trunk. But that's a Benz's. She said, but I'm a Porsche. My junk is in the front. She said, in other words, big girls need loving too. And so when she said that, I got chuckled, which means that everybody feel that they got something going on. And if you don't feel you got something going on, then you got something going wrong. Because no matter what situation you're in, you can change it. You can change it. You can lose weight. You can color your hair. You can take a dog out. There's so many things you can do to change. Why are you going to let somebody keep you in a box to where you can't celebrate yourself? Make no difference. Lizzie back there, and Lizzie addressed Lizzie already talked about. She knows she's dealing with this leg and all that, but me and Lizzie had a conversation. She said, one leg may be bad, but I got another good one. Am I right, Lizzie? Lizzie said, I know one arm might be going through, but with this one arm and this one leg, see, y'all can't talk it because y'all don't have a relationship. And the problem with the church don't have a relationship. People falling out, getting mad, all of this type stuff. We got to be able to talk to one another. We got to be able to share with one another, because if we don't get to that point, the church will never be delivered. People will never get set free. Mindsets will never change. While you hating on somebody, just walk up to them and say, what did you do? Girl, what you do to get her? I know you ain't on crack, but you done slim right on down looking all good. What you do? It ain't nothing wrong with asking somebody something that they done did. Because it's no more than just, and if they're a real sister, they'll tell you, girl, I'm going to tell you this, but don't you tell nobody. Oh, taste is just a word. Shoot, I've been dealing with some stuff lately and going through some things, getting myself, trying to, and I'm going to tell you, she see me coming in the room, she get nervous. She get right scared now. I said, hold up, it's just me. Don't grabbing the covers, shivering, because I feel good about me. Can I get a witness? Can you say?
Amen.
You see, she said it weak. Amen. Amen. See, y'all got to see. Y'all ain't messing with y'all. Let me get on my message. See, God is getting ready to bless you. But God gonna bless you real good. You really blessed when they look at you and say, Lord. Remember the other morning? Lord. I'll leave that alone. I said, I am not he, but I'm he that sent me. Let me get my message. God gonna bend our backs over with blessing. Not only he's gonna bless us, God said, I don't want to bless you, I want your cup to run over so that everything connected to you gonna come. Tell somebody and say, I'm blessed. Everything around me is blessed. I have an obligation to pass something down so you won't have to start with nothing. God said you're going to start with something. The Israelite had finally woke up free. Miriam grabbed the tambourine and started beating it to the glory of God. She and them went and danced and they was free. But what do you do with free? When God freed me of some stuff, I was bored with me at first. The Bible says, and it's a dangerous place, I'm trying to help us. It's a dangerous place when God free you. Because the Bible says when an unclean spirit leave out of a person. And it comes, because it's going to come seeking itself back. And it found the house swept and garnished. It's just like somebody that got away from you and you trying to do the right thing. You done told them, I'm trying to do the right thing. And they call you back anyway and say, what you doing? I've been thinking about you. And you talk, I told you I'm trying to do the right thing. Yeah, but girl, you remember when we used to do the thing. I know you want to do the right thing. And it ain't long. If you don't have something in you, the Bible says, if you hadn't put something in you, put that word in you, that strength of God in you. It said that he'd go back, which means no demon, and bring 7 times worse. And some people wonder why they feel cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, because that thing that got 7 times worse. Beforehand, it was just on Monday. Now it's on every day of the week. Because it's 7 times worse. And so I had to start doing stuff with me. I could cry out to folks and say, let's go do this. They ain't hearing the preaching. Let's go do that. They don't hear the apostle. Let's go eat after dinner. Let's hang out, fellowship. They ain't paying me no attention. So I had to learn, if I'm going to stay sane and saved before God and be the best pastor, the best husband, the best dad, and the best papa that I can be, I got to learn how to celebrate me. I had to get that in my spirit because I was now free, but for what? Something was going to occupy my time. And I had to make sure it wasn't going to be the enemy. I had to make sure. That's why whenever you see me up and I got my computer out and I'm sitting there and I'm doing studies and so forth, so on. Y'all, let me tell you, it ain't just to bring y'all a good word. It's to keep me before the face of God. It's to keep me where I can walk before him, hear him, without areas of conviction to where I can't be able to take and express his word. And let me tell you, it's a tough thing whenever you before God and God leading you in a way, and you got a wife here that you got to also go home to, but you got to be able to expose your frailties. By not trying to hurt her, but at the same time deliver people. Because the thing about it is, the church for so long have put on these areas of faces and masks to where people are feeling like they're going to hell in a handbasket, and they don't feel that God's going to do anything because they're not seeing nothing being done, because they think that all leaders got it going on, and they don't have these issues. They're not dealing with financial problems. They're not dealing with marriage problems. They're not dealing with children problems. They're not dealing with health problems. And so while us painting this, because we know how to say hallelujah, we know how to do all the proper things, they don't know the hell sometimes we go through. And so while they're dealing with all this here, what do you do when you're free? We're in a new place, we're in a new position, but how do we function in the condition that we're in right now? This is the key to transition, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching those things which are before. How do you now function in execute position after functioning as laborers? How do you function in executive positions after functioning as laborers all your life? And now you got to execute. You're now a leader. I like something, Rosalind, that we was talking about the other day in your position of work. And you were saying, you talking about position and how you had took, how your boss was in that position. Now you said, but you said it with such confidence. I like, she's going to make it. She's going to do good. Because you said, but I'm doing the same thing now. In other words, why am I not going to ask for the position? I'm already walking in it. Why shouldn't I be promoted? I'm already doing the work. And see, I was listening because, see, I couldn't touch and agree if you had doubt. Because it's not just my faith that helps. The Bible said one put 1,000 flight, 2 10,000. He said if any 2 or 3 couldn't get a touch and agree, he'd be in the midst. So guess what? I could agree with that thing because guess what? You were speaking it, and you weren't cocky. You were faithful. See, it's one thing when you're talking faith versus you're talking cockiness. Look at somebody say, I'm speaking faith. And so here it goes. They're now in a position as they've been put now from a labor mentality into a management position, because they often think like who they were, although they was in a new position, their mindset was back there. And that's why I brought up the MC Hammer. That's why I brought up all these areas of people that have failed, because guess what? When they arrive to their new position, if you thinking like MC Hammer did, want to tote the whole neighborhood, you're going to be broke. If you're thinking like that lottery winner that was in the projects, guess what's going to happen when they win the money? They're going to live in project mentality. Nobody to invest their money with. Nobody to put their money in areas of retirement savings and all of that. Every new step requires a new mentality. This way I come into the area of titles. When God called apostles, let's put it to Jesus' peace, elders, ministers, deacons, that was a title, that was a position, but you came to it with your old mindset. Just, you put on the collar, you put on the robe, but it made no difference. You still had an old mindset. You can get the position quicker than you can get the mentality. After 400 years, they're free and have a date to meet God, their God whom they hadn't seen over 400 years, a date with Jehovah, and they can't even imagine who he is. And when it comes around the mountain, the ground trembles and the mountain is filled with smoke. And they say, whoa, hold up. We're not quite ready for this. Some of you are saying that right now. Whoa, hold up. I'm not ready for this responsibility. I didn't join this church for this. I'm not ready for this care and concern. I'm not ready to act like I got to be super preacher, super save the saints. I'm not ready for, whoa! Anybody ever felt like that? You got the position, but now you're dealing with the woe. And so now they're dealing with all of this here, not quite ready for it. So they did, what they did then is built what they thought God looked like, which became an idol, and what they thought what God would look like was based on where they came from. See, the Egyptians worship cows and bulls. For whence cometh this calf is what Moses asked. This is not the tradition of the Hebrews, for they wasn't worshiping cows before. It came from the Egyptians because the Egyptian God looked like a cow. So when people get loose, they build idols based on the culture they came from. Once again, that's why Hammer did what he did. That's why these millionaire of lottery ticket winners did what they did. It's one thing when you're in between getting what God gonna give you. I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they in a famine. It ain't that you don't know what to do with your money. It's a case of right now you're just in a famine. It's a difference compared to not knowing what to do with it when you get it. Joseph took and knew what to do with money. Joseph told them, look, here's a dream. I'm going to interpret a dream. Joseph got himself cleaned up, had his resume together, because when Pharaoh was looking for someone, he had already put out the word, look, don't forget about me. Told Pharaoh what he was capable of doing, told him what his brothers had done to him, told him how he can interpret dreams. Resume. Pharaoh said, I'm going to hire you, boy, because nobody else can do what you can do. He brings them in. Now, here's what we don't like a lot of time, but he was in Egypt. Egypt is the source of the world. The Israelites is God's people, but God said, I got to bring my people into wealth. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one person. God always starts out with one. When he got ready to do the world and he wanted to bring forth somebody, brought out one, Adam. When they got through with Adam and man messed up, God came forth with one, Noah. When Noah took and brought forth the people, God said, I'm getting ready to make a covenant. He brought forth one, Abraham. After he did Abraham, he brought forth one, Isaac. When Isaac fulfilled his position, he brought forth one, Jacob. When Jacob fulfilled his position, God always deal with one. Even when he got to one after his own heart, he brought forth one, David. And when God got through and he got ready to do something great, this redeemed mankind, he brought forth one, Jesus. Now I'm getting ready to ask you, God ready to do something to Jesus' peace. Are you the one? Why are you looking for somebody else to do when you could be the one? And God ain't concerned with numbers. Guess what? Whenever he got ready to take care of Nineveh, he brought forth one, Jonah. And it was thousands of people. God didn't send a crew. He didn't send all the elders to lay hands. He sent one, Jonah. And Jonah ran a 3-day journey in a day. You got to realize you're anointed to do what God have called you to do. But you will never do it as long as you keep looking for everybody else to do what you've been called to do. Look at somebody and say, he preaching good. Matter of fact, I'm preaching better than you amening me on today. So what God is getting ready to do is this. He's getting ready to change the whole thing around. Look at your neighbor and say, he's getting ready to change the whole thing around. And so what happens is God is getting ready to do some stuff. And so what happened, they built something that became an idol, which became that thing that they thought looked like God because where they came from. And so what you have to understand is so when people get loose, they build idols based off culture. Give them to Christ all you want to. But if they're not going to work with them to change their culture, if the church not going to work with people to change their culture, they'll just build the same ghetto out here that they had over there. That's why people have a problem when they first get saved and they start saying, I don't have no church clothes. And then some of us got problems because we see them coming in with stuff that's a little too short. That's all they have. They came to Jesus. They didn't come to you. You got a problem because you don't want your husband looking at those thighs and fries that go with that shake. But what you going to do about trying to get them to Jesus? If you preach Jesus long enough, material will grow. Conviction will come. Things will start changing. A person themselves will say, look, I know everybody there. You know, I hate to go to church like that. Look what happened when you go out of town and you didn't bring but some casual clothes. You say, y'all got church? I don't want to go to church. I ain't got nothing. Well, our church let you wear anything. Yeah, but because it's in you. Your culture have changed. But what about Shake It Fast Annie? There you go. There you go. What about it? What about that person, that guy that's been a player all his life? Old player from the Himalayas. Girl, you look so good, I'll sop you up with a biscuit. What about that person? That's all he know. How to wink and blink. Let me holler, holler, holler. Let me holler at that church. You know, that's all he know. That could be your next deacon. You tell him, man, God got great things for you. Yeah, what's her name? No, he got great things for you. Yeah, but what's her name? Because they ain't looking at what we're looking at. They just came from a culture. They just acknowledge Jesus as Lord, and that's all they know. And then we want to cut them loose because we ain't got time to deal with their flesh. They just too fleshly for me, man. But what about you? When you was sleeping around still and doing everything you weren't supposed to, and you got saved and fell under Jehus at the same time, and you were still loose at the same time, and as a long-necked goose at the same time. I know I was living holy till I met her. Now, all kidding aside, I was in the church. She wasn't. I was brought up in church. But when we came together, I won't talk in church. I brought her to church. We came to Jesus together. Left out and went home and did some things together and won't marry. But ain't it amazing how we condemn other folks for stuff God graced us with? We condemn them, we talk about them, and they this, they that, but it ain't been too long that God graced us. To whence cometh this calf? How did it come? It ain't long before. In other words, we have to realize stuff that happened. It's like moving from an old house with roaches to a new house without roaches. It ain't long before the roaches will show up. Get them free if you want to, and they're still. You look around. They in the dresser drawer corners. You moved in the daylight. You moved out in the daylight, but those roaches don't come out in the daylight. Cut on the light, what happened? Okay, I knew I had some testimonies in here. Everybody ain't dealing with rage. So now you need some exterminators. Some real rage don't do but for nice roaches. You ever seen those roaches that toting roaches? And so you get to the new house because you didn't exterminate. You didn't clean up the old house. And so the infestation that's at the old house is going with you to the new house. And just as you was embarrassed at the old house, you're going to be just as embarrassed at the new house. Because people going to say, just got that new house, and child, they still got roaches. But you never got rid of them before. And what happened, why is it that when we see one, we don't get concerned? It's just a roach. It multiplies. You cut on a light, it's 2 roaches. Next day, it's 23 roaches. So what you got to do is kill it. It's the same way it is in the church. You see a problem, you don't want to deal with it. It's one problem. Next thing, it's 3 problems. Next thing, there's 23 problems. Because we don't want to deal with it. We think it's going to go away. Look at somebody say, it ain't going nowhere. It's like bad breath till you do something about it. It ain't going nowhere. Somebody come out, let me holler, holler, holler. You say, oh, dude, you need to swallow. And so I got to stop. I'm putting a period right there. We're going to pick up next week. Next week, I need y'all to take and come in with casual. Next week, we're going to have our casual wear, our tennis shoes. Next week anniversary, I still be preaching on her. That morning, I ain't thinking we got nobody. Huh? We ain't got no change, do. I don't preach. Who preaching? Oh, you preaching? All this new to me. But I ain't know we got, who preaching? Oh, well, she just coming forth with the, yeah, she ain't going to be but 20 minutes like everybody else. Okay. Shoot, I spent too much time laboring for the Lord lately. Yeah, we're going to be having our Veterans Day area, and when our other ministers going to come forth. But, yeah, she probably, what, same time? Okay, yeah, we good. Bless the Lord. Well, we're getting ready to take real briefly. It's our joy night. We done had it this morning. We're going to real briefly. Elder Vinegar, how much a joy night we usually do? $300. We're going to do that so quick. Get ready to have benediction. I got y'all out on time. We're getting ready to go home. Co-pastor, you cooking today?